Brand New Day, 2008. The movie is literally named after this comic. The 2008 Brand New Day storyline was the direct follow-up to One More Day. In One More Day, Peter Parker made a deal with Mephisto, the demon of the Marvel Universe, to save his dying Aunt May. The price was his marriage to Mary Jane. Mephisto did not kill MJ. He just erased their entire relationship from existence. Peter and MJ wake up in a world where they were never married. They had a messy breakup years ago instead. Nobody remembers their wedding. The entire history of the Spider-Man comics got rewritten in a single issue. Fans hated it. It is widely considered the most controversial Spider-Man story ever published. Brand New Day, the comic, picked up the pieces. Peter was single again, living with Aunt May, broke, working as a freelance photographer. The supporting cast was reshuffled. New villains were introduced. The status quo got a hard reset. The MCU is doing the same thing, just with a different reason. Doctor Strange's spell at the end of No Way Home wiped Peter Parker from everyone's memory. MJ does not remember him. Ned does not remember him. He is alone, watching old friends from a distance. The trailer literally opens with Peter scrolling through social media videos of MJ and Ned at MIT. That entire premise is lifted from the comic. The MCU is doing Brand New Day with the same emotional core. Spider-Man stripped down to nothing, forced to start over. The Other Evolve or Die 2005. The Other was a crossover event that ran from 2005 to 2006 across 3 Spider-Man titles. The story sees Peter Parker dying, slowly. His body rejects his Spider-Man powers, and he is becoming weaker and weaker. He gets attacked by a villain called Morlun, who feeds on totem-based heroes. Peter is beaten to near death. Then he transforms. His body builds a cocoon made of webbing. He emerges from it changed. Organic webbing now shoots from his wrists. Wrist stingers like a real spider. Night vision. The ability to communicate with arachnids. A whole evolutionary upgrade. The trailer for Brand New Day shows Peter emerging from exactly this kind of webbed cocoon. The scene is a direct visual reference to the comic. The MCU has never given Peter organic webbing. He has always used the web shooters Tony Stark engineered. The cocoon scene in the trailer changes that. Peter wakes up able to shoot webs from his body without any tech. He stops himself from falling with a reflexive thwip that he does not seem to control. That is the Mutation arc. Peter becoming something more spider than human. The director Destin Daniel Cretton has confirmed that the film deals with the cost of being a full-time vigilante on Peter's body. The cost in the comics was that Peter evolved into a darker version of himself. The MCU is clearly setting up the same arc. Whether they go full mutation or just borrow the visual is the only question left. Civil War 2006. Hunted Vigilante Arc. Mark Millar's Civil War in 2006 did something nobody expected. Peter Parker publicly unmasked himself in support of the Superhuman Registration Act, showed his face on live television, said his name, told the world he was Spider-Man. The consequences were immediate and brutal. Every villain Spider-Man had ever fought now knew where Peter Parker lived. Aunt May became a target. May got shot in a sniper attack meant for Peter. The unmasking ruined his life completely. Peter spent the next 2 years as a hunted vigilante, wanted by the government, pursued by criminals, living off the grid, eventually leading directly into One More Day where he tried to save May from the gunshot wound. The MCU did the same beat in reverse. Mysterio outed Peter's identity at the end of Far From Home. Peter became the most wanted teenager in America. Then No Way Home made everyone forget him. Brand New Day picks up 4 years later with Peter still being hunted by the consequences. The trailer shows Punisher running Peter down in a truck. Not because Frank wants Spider-Man specifically, because vigilantes are getting hunted by Mayor Wilson Fisk's anti-vigilante task force after Daredevil Born Again. Peter is collateral damage in someone else's war. The Civil War arc's central question of whether superheroes should answer to the government is being repurposed for this new political reality. Spider-Man is a wanted man. Same energy, different framing. Back in Black 2007. Back in Black ran in 2007, right between Civil War and One More Day. Aunt May had just been shot. She was dying in a hospital bed. The sniper who shot her was hired by Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin. Peter Parker stopped pretending to be a friendly neighborhood hero. He put on his black symbiote-inspired suit and went after Fisk personally. The story is about Peter Parker breaking, becoming vengeance. He nearly kills Fisk in a prison yard fight that ends with Spider-Man telling Kingpin that if May dies, Fisk dies. This was the darkest, most violent Spider-Man story Marvel had published in years. Peter shed the boyish hero persona and became something colder. Brand New Day's trailer leans hard into this dark Peter Parker. The new black and red suit, the grittier color palette, the shots of Peter fighting Punisher in dirty alleys. The interaction with Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner suggests Peter is hiding something darker. The Kingpin storyline has not been transferred directly to this film because Tombstone is being set up as the new street-level crime boss instead. Marvin Jones III is playing Tombstone. He is replacing Fisk as the mob threat after Daredevil Born Again handles Wilson, but the Back in Black tone is unmistakable. The Peter Parker we are getting in this movie is angrier, more willing to cross lines. The trailer shows him pinned down by gunfire and bleeding. That is not the Tom Holland Spider-Man from Homecoming. That is Back in Black Spider-Man wearing his uniform. If you're loving these breakdowns, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. We've got more coming. Let's keep going. Nick Spencer's Amazing Spider-Man Run 2018. Nick Spencer wrote The Amazing Spider-Man from 2018 to 2022. His run was a deliberate back-to-basics Spider-Man story. Peter was broke, recently dumped, living in a tiny New York apartment, trying to put his life back together while juggling Spider-Man duties. The most beloved part of his run was introducing Boomerang as Peter's new roommate. Fred Myers is a D-list Spider-Man villain who throws boomerangs. Spencer made him the comic relief sidekick, the grumpy older roommate who eats Peter's leftovers and complains about rent. Peter and Boomerang became a buddy comedy duo while still being on opposite sides of the law. Boomerang is confirmed in Brand New Day. He appears in the trailer briefly. He is a low-stakes villain whose presence makes no sense in a movie that also features Tombstone, The Hand, Punisher, and the Hulk. Unless he is being set up as the Spencer-style roommate dynamic, the trailer's emphasis on Peter being completely alone, broke, and struggling to make ends meet matches the tone of the Spencer run almost exactly. The MCU has been quietly building toward an adult Peter Parker. Not a high schooler, not a college student, a grown man with bills and rent and no support network. That is the version of the character Spencer wrote for 4 years. Brand New Day looks like a direct adaptation of that tone, if not the literal plot beats. Spider-Verse 2014. Spider-Verse in 2014 brought together every Spider-Man variant across the Marvel multiverse for the first time. The threat was Morlun and the Inheritors, totem hunters who feed on the life force of spider-powered heroes across every dimension. The story crossed Peter Parker over with Miles Morales, Spider-Gwen, Spider-Man 2099, and dozens of other variants. The Inheritors were nearly unstoppable. They had killed multiple Spider-Men before the heroes even knew the threat existed. Spider-Verse is the comic that became the foundation for Into the Spider-Verse and the entire Sony animated franchise. Morlun is the central villain, the Man-Eater. Brand New Day is hinting at Morlun's introduction to the MCU. The mutation arc Peter is going through, the cocoon, the new spider powers, all of it sets up a totem-based interpretation of Spider-Man. Morlun specifically hunts spider totems. If Peter becomes more spider than human, he becomes Morlun's primary target. The MCU has already established the multiverse exists. No Way Home brought in Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield from other universes. Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars are expected to expand that. Brand New Day appears to be planting the seed for a future Spider-Verse adaptation in live action. Peter's transformation in this film might be the setup for him being hunted across dimensions in a later movie. The pieces are being placed early. The director has confirmed the film carries the burden of redefining the street-level Marvel universe while setting up an impending multiversal war. Morlun showing up in this movie would be the perfect bridge between Peter's solo story and the bigger Avengers crossovers. The character has been on Marvel's wish list for live action for over a decade. Brand New Day might be where they finally introduce him. Spider Island 2011. Spider Island in 2011 was a massive event where almost every resident of Manhattan gained spider powers overnight. The cause was Adriana Soria, the Spider Queen, a military experiment that gave her control over anyone with insect or spider DNA. Soria's powers spread like a virus. New Yorkers started developing wall-crawling abilities, super strength, and spider senses. Then they started mutating into actual giant spiders. Peter Parker spent the event trying to find a cure while the rest of the heroes battled an army of spider people. The Spider Queen is one of the most powerful villains in the modern Spider-Man canon, a character Marvel has not yet adapted for live action. Sadie Sink is in Brand New Day in a role Marvel is keeping completely secret. She has not appeared in any trailer footage. Her character is being protected harder than any other casting in the film. The leading fan theory is that she is playing Jean Grey to set up the mutants. But the second most popular theory is that she is playing Adriana Soria, the Spider Queen. The mutation theme of the film, the way Peter's powers seem to be evolving without his consent, the trailer's references to spider biology spreading, all of it fits the Spider Island arc. If Sadie Sink is Adriana Soria, then Brand New Day is setting up a far larger spider-related event for a future film. The Spider Queen does not show up unless Marvel is planning Spider Island in live action. The character is too important to waste on a cameo. There is also the question of where the Hand fits into this theory. Shadowland 2010, The Hand. Shadowland in 2010 was a Daredevil-led crossover event. The Hand, the ancient ninja death cult, took control of Hell's Kitchen. They built a literal fortress in the middle of New York City. Daredevil himself was corrupted by the Beast of the Hand and became the cult's leader. Spider-Man got pulled into the fight along with Iron Fist, Punisher, and other street-level heroes. The Hand had appeared in Spider-Man comics before, but Shadowland was where the threat became central to Spider-Man's world. The Hand fights Peter in waves of red-clad ninjas. They are nearly impossible to kill because they keep resurrecting. They are the supernatural threat Spider-Man is least equipped to deal with on his own. Brand New Day's trailer shows Peter fighting the Hand on at least 2 occasions. Once inside a prison, once on rooftops at night. The ninjas wear the exact red outfits from Daredevil Season 1 and the comics. The Hand has been canon in the MCU since the original Daredevil show on Netflix. Now they are crossing over into the main Spider-Man film. This is also setting up a future Daredevil Spider-Man team-up that fans have been begging for since Charlie Cox returned in No Way Home. Whether Daredevil himself appears in Brand New Day or just sets up his crossover for a later project, the Hand's presence is the clearest signal that the street-level corner of the MCU is consolidating around Spider-Man. Brand New Day is doing Shadowland without explicitly saying it.